Grief, it doesn't have a timeline. And I think we need to talk about that. Grief isn't always about losing someone or about death. But lately, for me, that's what I've been dealing with. I'm approaching 10 years since my mother's passing. And it's like every year, at this time of year, it's like my body remembers or my subconscious remembers. And at first, I didn't know what it was, like the first few years. But now I realize that it's grief. It's not loud, it's often subtle. It's sort of like a feeling that I can't quite explain. I find it amazing that I remember the dates, that certain things happened. She passed away on April 24th, 2016. And I remember March 8th was the day that I got the call that the doctors wanted to amputate her toe. By the next week, it was her whole foot. And my mom made the decision of not doing that. She said she don't think God sent her here to be chopped up. So in making that decision, she knew that she didn't have much time because her body was rapidly declining and gangrene and all sorts of things. And so she coded and just all these things. My mom was on dialysis from high blood pressure for like 18 years. And I believe to this day that she lived as long as she did because she wanted to. And when she was ready to surrender, she did. So I got allergies going on. What about y'all? So that's why I sound like this, and every now and then I might need to clear my throat and my nose because this pollen ain't choking. It's like spring came and sprung, honey. It's also amazing the things that you do that you wouldn't think that you would be able to do when that sort of thing is going down, you know? We all know that at some point we won't have our parent, right? If it's the natural order of things. And we don't know how it's going to happen or when. And so it's something that we fear, but it was like I had to be in autopilot because I had to make sure she was all right and make sure she got her wishes. Like to get her out of the hospital and get her home and be on hospice and figure out how that whole thing worked. Who, what, where, why, when they come in, how they doing it or whatever. And then watch the hospice nurse because I feel like they come in and they try to kill you rather than... Anyway, that's a whole nother recording. But yeah, it was something else. So from March 8th of 2016 to April 24th, it was back and forth from Atlanta to Florida. I was spending more time in Florida than Atlanta. Mind you, Noble had just turned 1. So I had this 1-year-old. And it was a lot. But it got done. It was one of those things, one of those other moments in life where I kind of just went in autopilot. Because you know a thing needs to be done. And it just needs to be done. And then we ended up burying our mother on Mother's Day. So that was the last tribute to her, to honor her life on Mother's Day. So around this time of year, it's like really like the first, from March all the way through middle of May, I think a lot about my mama. And it's like I grieve all over again. It reminds me that grief, it doesn't never go away. We just learn how to live with it, really. And the grief, I guess, is not only about losing someone physically, right? It's about losing the version of your life that was when they were here. And I'm learning that grief doesn't really have a timeline. Grief don't have a timeline. Grief is forever. You really just learn how to live with the grief, live with the loss. And grief doesn't always extend to death. You could be grieving a relationship. You can be grieving the old version of yourself. You can be grieving expectations that didn't come to pass. I mean, you could be grieving something that you thought would work out by now, So grief is not always about losing someone. It could be losing something. It could be a loss of a certain part of you, And grief doesn't have a timeline. I mean, 10 years later, and it still extends and finds its way back to me. Not always in the same way, but it always does find its way back to me. Some days you're okay. Other days it just sits with you. Grief doesn't follow rules. It doesn't check in before it shows up. I mean, it just is what it is. And we have to allow ourselves to feel it, because we heal a little more and we dig a little deeper in, we heal a little more and we dig a little deeper in realizing why we're grieving when we allow ourselves to feel, when we don't push it aside or say, oh my gosh, it's been a certain amount of time, why am I this, why am I that? Sometimes it sticks with you. And we gotta learn that that's okay. That's normal. Grief is not a weakness, it's really evidence that something mattered. So I've learned to embrace it. I've learned to find a level of peace in the remembering what happened, and feeling the sorrow that may come from remembering, and not making it seem as though I should be over it by now. Some things you just never get over. And I think losing your mama is one of them. Or losing a relationship, or an expectation, or just your grief is your grief. And you're allowed to have it. So if you're grieving something, anything, give yourself permission to feel. Give yourself permission to heal a little bit. And don't beat yourself up and make yourself feel worse about actually grieving. Even if it's 10 years later. You are human. So if this resonates with you, you're not alone. I'm not the only one, and you're not the only one.